All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you want to just drop in a quick hello and what school district you're from, I will go ahead and get started. Today's session, I'll be covering MAST administration, and then you'll cycle through the other sessions that will be led with our other specialists. Okay, so let's take a look at today's norms. So this will be a presentation style session. I'll be the presenter on stage. Feel free to use the chat professionally, ask any questions that arise as we go through today's slide deck, and then we'll answer as many questions as we can at the end as time allows. All right, in today's session, we're going to take a look at MAST administration for test administrators. We'll look at how educators or test administrators can verify student rosters and PNPs, print student test tickets and daily access codes, administer testlets, and monitor testlet completion. Test administrators should start before testing in verifying that their student rosters are correct. So student rosters can be checked in the test monitor screen within a testing window for those with a teacher role. Building and district users can use the View Rosters tab in the Kite Educator portal. If students aren't showing, educators should reach out to a building or district level user right away to get those students added to their roster prior to testing. A reminder that rosters are important in testlet assignments. Rosters prompt the system to assign testlets to students. So a commonly asked question is if a student doesn't have a testlet showing on their end, it's most likely because they have not been rostered to the educator. Test administrators should also verify student PNPs. The student PNP summary can be found in the Kite Educator portal by navigating to Settings, then Students, filling out the organizational drop-down menus at the top, then clicking Search. Students with no accommodations or designated support set will have a blue hyperlink that says No Settings in their cell entry that's titled PNP Profile. If a student does have accommodations or designated support set, their blue hyperlink will say Custom in the PNP Profile cell. By clicking on that blue hyperlink, educators and test administrators that have those students directly rostered to them will be able to pull up this summary page. So the summary page will share all of the non-embedded and embedded accommodations and designated supports available to students. If the students' PNPs are not correctly set, reach out to a building level or district level user to get those set prior to testing. Let's say it's noticed that a student begins testing and the PNPs are not populating for the student. Stop testing right away. The educator that's administering the test can secure the testlet by pausing, and then the test administrator can reach out to a building or district level coordinator to get those supports correctly set before resuming the testlet. Now that rosters and PNPs have been verified, testing tickets can be printed and prepared ahead of time. There are two methods to printing test tickets. There's a data extract method, and testing tickets can also be found in the test monitor screen. Let's take a look at the data extract method. So this method may be most useful when preparing tickets at the beginning of the school year. Student logins do remain the same all year, and they will give access in the Kite student portal for both math and ELA testlets. A reminder that this is considered a secure test item. so please keep them in a secure location when not in use. To access the data extract method, navigate to Reports, Data Extracts. In the Default tab, click on Student Test Tickets and Login Information. This will bring up a Create Extract pop-up window. Fill out the organizational menu, and a reminder it'll ask for grade. Math and ELA will have the same login tickets, so you can choose one or the other. And you can choose to download as a CSV or PDF, and then click on OK. It will take just a moment for the report to generate an icon under the File column. Once the icon is generated, click on the PDF or CSV icon to download to your device. From there, testing tickets can be printed out and prepared for testing. Testing tickets can also be found in the Test Monitor screen. A couple considerations. A reminder that testing tickets won't be available in using the Test Monitor screen method until the testing window has opened. Another thing to know is that tickets become unavailable after the student has completed that specific testlet. So when educators navigate to the Test Monitor screen, they will click on Interim, My Tests. They will fill out the organizational drop-down menu. They'll select the testlet for which they would like to print the student test tickets for. And then at the bottom of the table, there's a button called Tickets. Again, a reminder, if the student has already taken, let's say, grade 4 angles and geometry, and we click on angles and geometry and click on tickets, that student's test ticket will not be available. Once testing tickets have been prepared, the next thing that needs to be prepared is printing or accessing the daily access codes. A reminder that daily access codes are only available the day before, after 2:30 p.m. Daily access codes are alphanumeric codes that are testlet and grade level specific. Again, these are also considered secure testing material, so be sure to keep these codes secure until they are needed for testing. To access daily access codes, navigate in the Kite Educator portal to Manage Tests, Daily Access Codes. Select the test day that the testlet will be administered. Then in the Daily Access Code column, educators can select either the PDF or the CSV icon to open the file, and then selecting Done once they have finished viewing the daily access code grids. Again, if educators are administering more than one testlet in a test session, or you are in a class with multiple grade levels, be sure to grab each individual daily access code as they are testlet and grade level specific. Now that educators have prepared testing tickets, daily access codes, verified their student rosters and PNPs, it's time to think about scheduling testlets within a testing window. Some considerations include collaborating with school and or district for scheduling. Schedules can be downloaded out of the Waypoint Scheduler tool. District STCs or system test coordinators have access to print and disseminate these high-level schedule PDFs. Educators can administer as close to instruction as possible, such as at the end of a unit or a chapter, and testing can be spread out throughout the window rather than clustering all testlets into the same week towards the end of a testing window. And always remember to plan for makeups. This diagram helps illustrate how spreading testlets out throughout a testing window can help administration feel more like the organic instructional testing cycle that students are accustomed to. Administering testlets as students are ready signals that gathering evidence of learning is closely connected to instruction and learning. Score reports are available within year as opposed to end of year. This provides the opportunity to use score reports within year as well as share score reports with students and families. Now that educators have checked their rosters, verified student PMPs are set correctly, printed out test tickets and daily access codes, scheduled testlets within window when students are ready to assess, and ensured that student testing devices are set for testing, educators can be sure that they have their administration script ready. This can be found in the MAST Test Administration Manual. This script helps students walk through how to access testlets. This test administration manual can be found on the MAST portal. Educators can actively walk around the room and monitor, ensuring that students have their correct login credentials and daily access codes and are accessing the correct testlet. Along with active monitoring and walking around the room, the test monitor screen in the Kite Educator portal can help monitor test administration and completion. Test administrators in this screen can view individual student progress status, number of unanswered questions, and progress through each testlet. To access this, educators go to Interim, My Tests, fill out the organizational information in the drop-down menus, and click Search. Educators can then select up to 4 testlets in the menu provided, and at the bottom of the table, we'll click on Monitor. A new window will appear with a list of students and the overall status of the testlet. So in that overall status column will be complete, in progress, unused, or paused. Those are the options for status of a testlet for a student. So as students take testlets, individual progress can be seen on each individual item for the testlet. A reminder that building level and district level users can also administer testlets to students that are not directly rostered to them, and they can also actively monitor completion as well as view these students in the test monitor screen. Within the test monitor screen, TAs have the capability, test administrators have the capability to pause and resume testlets. Pausing provides the opportunity to further secure a testlet should a student need to stop testing. Be sure that the educator goes back into the test monitor screen to select that specific student and choose Resume at the bottom of the table in order for the testlet to reappear in the Kite student portal. What are some ways that you or your educators currently monitor testing during assessments? Do they set time boundaries? Do they ensure students are completing testlets in a timely manner and submitting testlets for scoring? Here we have average test times for each grade level in minutes for both math in our upper right table and ELA, our bottom left table, for the 50th, 80th, and 90th percentiles. This data is the collection of data from Montana students who took MAST testlets last school year in 2024-2025. Using this data to think about what might be causing experienced administration times to be higher can help balance instructional and administration time. Test timing documents are available on the MAST portal under Resources for Teachers. 2 documents are available. One for math timings for grade levels and individual testlets, and another for ELA, grade levels and individual testlets. It's in this document that estimated time is given as a range. For example, in this one, grade 5 add and subtract fractions has taken Montana students approximately 18 to 25 minutes to complete. Thinking about how this information can help with scheduling testlets within window can help better balance instructional time with test administration. Consider setting time boundaries for test administration. Remember, untimed testlets does not have to mean unlimited time. Use the timing documents to let students know what to expect for the length of each testlet. Perhaps teaching the first part of the period, then assessing at the end, may help establish a natural time boundary. Actively monitoring and walking around the room to check on students' progress helps with students taking too long. Try, Marcy, I see you've been on a number for a while. Why don't you flag this question and come back to it at the end? You can also encourage fast finishers to slow down a bit. Marcy, I notice you are almost near the end of the testlet. Remember, this testlet should take about 20 minutes. Why don't you go back and check your work on your previous questions? Have students raise their hand when they are finished before submitting. This provides the opportunity to remind students to go back and review those items if they rushed. Test administration has been finished. Now what? Let's take a look at using strategies and resources to check for testlet completion. Monitoring testlet completion ensures that federally mandated standardized testing is completed in ordinance to ESTA Section 1111. Within the KITE Educator portal, there are different methods to monitoring testlet completion. Let's take a look and learn about these different methods. In the KITE Educator portal, educators can use the dashboard, which is a very high-level view of student completion. A reminder that this percentage shares students completed with all testing for the window. Another method is to use the test administration monitoring data extract. This is the most useful for identifying individual students and testlets needing to be completed. And of course, the test monitor screen can be used to compare number of students assigned testlets and number of students completed. Let's take a look at these three methods. When using the dashboard, educators can go into the KITE Educator portal and select Dashboard from the top blue menu bar. This is a high-level testlet completion view. A reminder that the dashboard is only updated at noon and midnight Central Time and only shares the number of students, the percentage of students that are completed with all testing for the window. Educators can download extracts and view at the district or school level as needed. The data extract method is the most efficient and effective method to find individual students and testlets needing to be completed. Educators can navigate to Reports, Data Extracts in the blue bar in the KITE Educator portal. Educators then select the Test Administration and Monitoring tab. By clicking on New File and filling out the drop-down menus from the pop-up window, a file will load and place an icon into the file column. This document can then be downloaded and filtered to identify testlets that are in progress, unused, or paused. We do have a video available to help walk through how to filter and find the list of students and specific testlets left to complete. At the end of this session, if we have time, I can show you how to perform that filtering. I see we have a question in the chat. Ron, so how this is structured is are you able to hear me? Okay. You can just make a comment into the chat. So how this is set up is it's really like a stage and an audience. So I'm on stage and I'm presenting, and you can interact with the chat. Feel free to ask questions, and we'll answer them if there's time at the end. Thank you. Okay, like I said, if we have time at the end, I'll pull up, I have a CSV file for a demo completion data file, and we'll walk through how to filter to find specific students and testlets that are left to complete testing. The third and final way to monitor testlet completion is using the test monitor screen. Educators can navigate into the test monitor screen just as if they were going to administer testlets. They can click on Interim, My Tests, fill out the organizational dropdowns, and click on Search. This will bring up a list of testlets. A reminder, when filtering for testlet completion, be sure that you're only looking at the current testing window. So in this case, we're showing that we're in testing window 3, and we want to look at the testlets that are only assigned in window 3. By selecting the testlets that have the students completed not matching the students attempted at item 4, we can select the testlets that still have students left to complete. So at item 5, we can select the testlets that are showing that the students completed is not matching the students assigned. In the next screen, it will pull up a list of students and their overall status. If we select the 3 dots in the column header, we can choose to sort descending. This will pull up any unused, in progress, or paused testlets. It will share the student's name in the left-hand column, and we'll be able to plan for getting those students administered and completed with their testing. Just a reminder, be sure that you plan for makeups. We know students will be absent during testing. Makeups can occur in the classroom. Is there a time when the rest of the class is working quietly and a student can complete a testlet? A reminder, students don't have to leave the classroom for makeup testing. A frequently asked question. Educators have a new student, and they're not sure if the student has already taken testlets in their previous district. In the Kite Educator portal, there is an area that we can navigate to called the Test Status Report that helps us see what testlets students have available for them to test. Educators can navigate to Interim, View Results. They will click on the Testlet Report dropdown. It is in this dropdown that educators can access their classroom reports, their individual student reports, and then those with a school or district level account can access school or district reports. It's in this menu that there is a test status report. So we'll select on test status report. We'll fill out the organizational information in the drop-down menus and click on search. A list of students will get pulled up. We can select the 3 dots at item 5, click on filter, and we can choose to either look maybe in the student's last name or the student state identifier. And we click on those 3 dots, click on filter, and in the filter box, we would type in the student's last name, and then click on filter, and it will pull the student to the top of the table. It is in this display that it will show either ELA or math, depending on which drop-down menu you are in. If the cell under the testlet name says report available, that means the student has already completed the testlet and a report is available in the report view tab. If the cell says unused, that means that the student has not yet taken the testlet and should complete the assigned testlet at your district. If the cell has N/A, that means that the student took the specific testlet in a previous testing window in their previous district, and their score report is available to be found in a previous testing window. As a reminder, the OPI sends out general and completion outreaches as a way to help support districts in meeting federally mandated standardized testing completion guidelines. At the beginning of a testing window, general outreach is sent to system test coordinators with tasks to complete and notification that the window has been opened. Later in the window, completion outreach will be sent to system test coordinators, authorized representatives, and building coordinators if we have those on file for districts that have not yet started. And later, in the final week of testing, another completion outreach will be sent to those districts that haven't finished. This outreach will also go to district STCs, authorized representatives, and building coordinators. And as always, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to the OPI Assessment Help Desk. We're happy to help provide support in monitoring testlet completion and test administration. I want to do a quick run through of the resources that I talked about today. A reminder that the Kite Educator portal, I know some of you are getting in and starting to work on user management in Kite. A reminder to use the unique Montana login that can be found on the MAST portal. If you Google Kite Educator portal, it will take you to a generic URL in which your login credentials will not work. The Kite Educator portal manual provides instructions and step-by-step directions on how to do many steps in the Kite Educator portal. The test administration manual, which includes that testing script for educators to use when administering testlets. The Kite test administration tutorial is available. We have administration and monitoring completion focused support videos. These can be found on the MAST Stay Informed webpage. It is in this video that we walk through how to filter that data extract to find specific students and testlets still needing to be completed. We have that filter in the data extract tutorial, and our math and ELA timing documents are also available on the MAST portal. Oh, thanks, Carrie. So yes, last year in the help tab, there were those quick tutorial videos. We'll get those loaded again this year to help support districts. But what I can do is they are also available on the MAST portal. I'm just grabbing them. Under resources for teachers, it's called MAST install links, whitelisting, and training videos. But let me drop that in here for you. Okay, Carrie, try that link. They should be there. All right, let's see where we're at for time. So 10:14. Okay, so we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We can take a quick break. I'll be around to answer questions. So we're in administration right now. Oops, let me back up here. So we're here. in administration. At 10:40, we'll come back. You will go to preparing to test from 10:40 to 11:30, and then 11:35 to 12:25, you will participate or attend the scheduling MAST testlets. Yes, Kim, it looks like you're right. Thank you for the reminder. Let's take a look at that. I need to switch screens here. Let me stop sharing. Okay. So let's say that I went into the Kite Educator portal and I went to reports, data extracts, and remember we go to that second tab. It's called test administration and monitoring, and we can generate a data extract for all students that have been assigned testlets, and it will generate a CSV icon that we can click on to download to our computer. And then once I open that document, it will look something like this. So what we want to do is we want to select all of the document. We want to turn on our filters. Now I know I'm in Excel and many of our school districts use maybe Google Sheets. This can still be performed in Google Sheets. And I'm happy to help provide support with that. Another thing you can do is like Google how to filter Google Sheet and then be able to filter that document as well. So we want to turn our filters on. It will pop up these little arrows for each of our column headers. So let's say that we're in window 4. So we want to make sure, because we really can't do anything about previous testing windows, right? We can't have students take testlets back in window 1, 2, or 3. So you want to select only the current testing window. Let's say we're in window 4. So I'm going to push OK. It's going to pull up and filter only testlets assigned in window 4. Excuse me. The next thing we want to do, and I should probably extend these, sorry. So your column headers will tell you, so here's your administration window. This is the first column that you want to perform the filter on. We want to look at only the current testing window. The second thing that we want to filter for is our test status, because what we're really interested in is not our complete testlets, because those are done. We want to find only the testlets that are in progress, paused, or unused. And it doesn't look, I don't know if it's showing for you guys, but because I can't see it on my presenter screen. But when I click on that drop-down menu here, it gives me an option to select or unselect all of the options that are in that column. So all of the options in the column are complete testlets, in progress testlets, pause testlets, and unused testlets. So I'm just unselecting complete. I'm leaving in progress, paused, and unused testlets as selected. Then I click on OK, and then it will filter a list of students and testlets that have not yet completed. So let's take a look at how we can identify this. So here we have our student column. So I can see my student names that still haven't completed, and I can look at column P for which testlet it is. Right. So this is an example of last year's data extract. You might have different math testlets, reading, beginning, or middle of year information or literary. So you'll know exactly which testlet is still needing to be completed. And it will tell you, this tells me that these students have not yet started. This tells me that the students did start, but they haven't finished yet. And we do need to make sure, like, paused testlets might not show up on the student's end, right? So we have to make sure that we're watching for those and looking for those to be completed. This tells me that the educator needs to go into the test monitor screen, be sure to select this student, and then click on resume at the bottom of that test monitor screen to open that testlet back up for the student to complete. All right. Kim, did that help answer your question? We do have a video to help support with this. I know sometimes when you go to do it, you may forget how to do that. So we do have that available in a focus support video on our Stay Informed webpage. And what I can do is let me grab that link for you guys. And it's on the Stay Informed webpage. We have focus support videos for all of our other assessments as well. So this should direct you to the MAST tab. Oh, thank you, Marcy. Yes, so in the MAST tab will be those focus support videos. It does share the data extract from last year, but the steps will still remain the same for this year. All right, are there any other questions? When is the weekly update for the dashboard again? So are you referring to that very high level view in the Kite Educator portal? Let me go back to that part in my slide deck. Oops. Okay. Josie, is this the one that you're referring to here, that dashboard, that high level view? Oh, my computer's being just a little bit slow. Hold tight. So that will, the weekly update for the dashboard. So when we use the dashboard for monitoring testlet completion, this will start updating as soon as the testing window opens. But just a reminder, it's not going to show a percentage of testlets completed. It's showing a percent of students that have completed all testlets. So just a reminder that that's what that percentage is sharing. When will score reports be available this year after students complete testlets? So we will be running the same cadence as last year. So score reports will be available the Thursday following administration. Oh, great, Josie. Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions? Feel free to drop them into the chat. I'm just going to pull up our schedule here just for your reference. Oh, good question, Corey. So if we don't have rosters assigned to you because you're not administering tests, can you still access results for individual students? So you can. So if you have a building level or district level role in the Kite Educator portal, you'll be able to access score reports for all students. So if you have a building level role for a specific school, you'll be able to see all score reports for students in that school building. If you have a district level role, you'll be able to see and access all student score reports for all students in the district. If you have a teacher role, you can only view student score reports for the students that are directly rostered to you. So just this afternoon, we'll have lunch break. We will have score report breakouts from 1 to 2, a closing. And then just a reminder, we are doing open office hours this afternoon from 2:30 to 3:30. This will be in Zoom, and the link will be provided again at the end of today's session. So if you have questions that you maybe have right now, or you have as you get through today's sessions, feel free to join us from 2:30 to 3:30. And then I'll put this back up. So just a reminder, so you're here in administration. And then at 10:40, we will move into, so you'll move into preparing to test. And that will be with Cedar. Any other questions, feel free to drop them in. You're welcome to go ahead and take a break before our 10:40 session starts. All right, Lydia, let me take a look at this. Oh, good. Yeah, so this question, are you must be referring to like scheduling at the beginning of the year, planning out those testlets and how they fall within each of the testing windows. So that will be covered from 11:35 to 12:25. And we do have resources to help elicit um, teacher feedback in helping schedule those testlets as it aligns to their curriculum and their scope and sequence throughout the year. So be sure to attend that session. If you're not able to attend that session, take a look at the MAST portal. And actually, let's do this. I'm going to drop the MAST portal is a really good link to bookmark. It has it's like the landing page of all MAST related resources. So there's a section called um, scheduler tool, and it's under that scheduler tool section that there's a scheduling guide, an FAQ document for test coordinators. There's like a little worksheet in there that you can give your educators along with the testing blueprints. The math standards blueprint is also on the MAST portal under resource for teachers, and they'll be able to see those testlets, their names, their content attributes, and which standards that are assessed, and then compare that against their curriculum and alignment and the testing window dates to figure which window would be the best to schedule for that. But like I said, in the 11:35 to 12:25 session, they'll dig into that a little bit more on how to schedule MAST testlets right now. Good question, Crystal. We're starting to get a lot of those questions like there's no students in the Kite educator portal. We'll perform our first student upload into the Kite educator portal on September 12th. So it's after the 12th is when you'll be able to go in and roster students to teachers and start plugging in student PMPs, those accommodations or designated supports. So, Lydia, on the accommodations that need to be plugged in, that gets Cedar will talk about that in the next session, 10:40 to 11:30, that preparing to test. So if you have that building level or district level user role in Kite, you'll be able to go into the educator portal, into the student's PNP, their personal needs profile, and you'll be able to select what accommodations and designated support students should get. She'll cover, accommodations are reserved for students that have IEPs or 504s, while designated supports are supports that students can use as long as they demonstrate a need for them and they've been used in the classroom environment. She'll cover all of that in the next session. Thank you again for joining us. It's 10:30. We have about 10 minutes before you move to preparing to test. Um, Go grab a cup of coffee, take a quick break. Thanks again for joining us. I'll stick around for a few more minutes and then um, I'll go off camera to prepare for my next session. All right, our next session will start at 10:40. So